All right, guys, I think we are back again. So hopefully we will be able to bring you the third game between Edge and Haze. It looks like we did have to have a sub. Pickle Store was just having too many issues, so subbing in for him will be their manager, King Mental G.
And this is actually a player I believe we've seen play in this league before, if memory serves me, with the King handle too. Hints that he was maybe a part of the Rift Kings organization, but Mental G coming in. The one thing we're not aware of is what role he's gonna necessarily be falling into, so expect some big changes in the draft here from Edge, because they could go many different directions with a sub in like this.
Yeah, it really could be interesting to see how they end up playing this. I wouldn't be surprised if Mental G just ended up going into that jungle role, kind of keep everything strong. Especially you want to keep Panda Opa and Caitlyn Stone in that bot lane. They've been really dominant in that.
Well, Mental G would likely go mid lane because Washed Up Kid was at the Edge jungle. They lost their
Oh
mid
yeah,
lane.
sorry,
Yeah.
you're right. My bad. You're right. I don't know why I flipped that in my mind. I think it was the placement where they were at the time when he got disconnected. He was at the jungle slot, and please don't tell me.
No.
Oh.
We're going to be okay. And
Okay.
it's actually interesting, too. We see the Victor target ban towards Mental
Mm-hmm.
G, I'd expect, in the middle lane, or whoever might be going there.
Whoa.
Syndra's available, and Alistar gets locked in. Haze has put 0 priority on Alistar. I'm really just kind of baffled why Edge loved this pick so much. The range supports, once again, just completely trash this champion.
Now,
It's
I will
strange.
say Alistar is a strong champion in the current meta, but I wouldn't put him at like a first pick priority kind of.
No.
Yeah, especially because we haven't really seen Worku prioritize that
There
at
you go.
all. He's more of a range support person. He likes the Zyra right here. He did a really good job on that Zyra. And look at that. We see the Syndra, the next hover.
Perfect.
So I think that's honestly what you do right there. You get that Syndra since you left it up, get that over onto Prey's hands, who did really good on that. So yeah, it's a weird pick man right there.
Yeah, it's starting it off strange, and not only that, but they don't show their hand. Haze don't really show anything there either, because you get the Zyra, the range support, gonna do great into the All-Star. Syndra's just a fantastic all-around pick for the middle lane. So again, really the only counter to it, a hard counter that we're used to, is going to be the Vladimir, and Mental G being thrown into the situation against not even arguably the best mid laner on this patch. He's gonna have to play very well.
Yeah, and grabbing that Vladimir as that counter towards that Syndra, not too surprised by that. That's honestly, I think the best pickup you can get into that. I didn't really like the pickup of the Ahri in the last game. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't like make Syndra almost not useless, but a lot weaker than she should be.
Yeah, it just didn't really do anything. And again, this time around, I really like this because there's a lot of AoE damage now. You've got the Vladimir. He's going to be dishing that out. And Ezreal, he can take the single targets down very quickly as well. So there's multiple levels, multiple different gears working in this Edge team composition that already looks much better than what they have drafted in the last couple of games, even though they were able to pick up a victory back in the first game of the day.
Yeah, they were able to get that victory, but we talked about how they got to adapt. They got to change things around, and it looks like Etsy wants to go back onto that Jarvan. He's picked that every single game. Not too surprising there. That means I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Wash Up Kid go right back to that Lee Sin, and now we see Asmalex. He wants to try his luck on that Vayne.
Interesting, because Vayne actually does pretty well into the Ezreal. It's quite a good matchup for the Vayne. You're not going to get punished through the laning phase. Once again, this is where the Vayne works out, because you look at All-Star Ezreal. What are they actually going to do to you during the lane phase? There's all-in potential, but you have the Zyra to actually enable Vayne to kind of be a lane bully just because you have all the damage from that range support to back you up. So I think that, again, even though it's not as dominant as the Caitlyn this time around, Asmalex and Worku are going to have a stronger 2 versus 2.
Yeah, they're gonna have a little stronger 2 versus 2 this time.
Ooh.
So I hope that's gonna be that Fizz.
Washed Up Kid played Fizz jungle last week as well, and they did well with it. Edge won their game. They hadn't dropped a game until the last one we just saw against Haze, and wow.
That's a very interesting pick that he's going to be picking up for himself, not going for that Lee Sin. So it's going to be interesting to see how he ends up playing that. And the only place he really doesn't have good CC from the laners is that mid lane. So probably going to prioritize Armia in that top lane. And maybe even the bot lane go help out Caitlyn Snow and Panda Opa.
Well, we still don't know what Armia's actually going to be playing into this time around. He picked up his Maokai once again for the 3rd game in a row. What's the response here? Because last time around, Living Dream wanted to play the Fiora. That didn't work out all that well. The Akali did fantastically, but it got banned away.
Split push Nasus?
Could it be?
Is it going to be Susan? Is Susan going to knit her way to our hearts?
It is. That's gonna... Alright, okay.
Okay, so most likely going to be that split lane Nasus in the top lane to go against Armia's Maokai.
Yeah, and what that does, basically the idea behind it, if this is the Emax Nasus, which has been becoming a lot more popular, you're going to get a Doran's Ring, maybe a second one, rush something like the Zizurot Portal, Maxi, and it's not about split pushing. It really is not. It's about shoving as fast as you possibly can, and then roaming, either invading the enemy jungle, possibly going towards a Fizz that might have a tougher time in there, pairing up with Etsu to gank mid lane, TP down bottom. It's all about grouping up with your team after you pressure, which is the complete opposite of a typical Nasus, where you just stay in lane for 25 minutes, farm up 500 stacks, and then one-shot the enemy backline. No. This is a much different look, trying to help out his team.
Well, they call it split push Nasus because he can split without having to actually be there. You get, like you said, get the Zizurot, put that down. So you put hard shove that lane and then walk somewhere else while your lane's pretty much split pushing itself.
That's pretty much the idea right there. There's a lot of things we have to keep our eyes on this time around. Again, bottom lane has been the breaking point in every single game. Game 1, Opa ran away with it. Second time around, Osmolex and Worku, they held their own. They got the early turret and were able to turn that into turrets all across the map. So it really does come to a lot of jungle pressure down here as well. This time around, once again, Osmolex and Worku have a very strong 2 versus 2. Washed Up Kid made an early gank last time around, but it wasn't enough. Now he's on a Fizz, who's not going to bring all that much to the table for pre-level 6 ganks, at least.
Yeah, he does bring a decent amount of damage, at least. So when he goes for these ganks, at least there's that. But yeah, like you said, not going to really bring that much to the table in terms of CC really helping to keep targets locked down, especially when you look at Asmux being on that Vayne, or even Living Dream being on a Nasus. Nasus is pretty good at surviving ganks so long as he knows what target to use his slow on. Use that Wither on, most likely, and try to use it on the Fizz, slow down the auto attacks, because Maokai you don't really care about, or even onto Panda Opa.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to watch, I think, is the moral of this. Because this time around, you look at it and it's like, oh, well, Syndra Vayne, that's a lot of single target. Isn't that the same issue that Edge had last time around? No, it really isn't, because Syndra can still do some AoE in there. You've got the Jarvan, the Nasus even with his E. You've got a Zyra as well. So there's so many tools, and that's been my favorite thing about the team compositions that Haze have drafted last game and this game as well. Is there's a lot of different ways they can play this. They have the strong early game, but they also have some tools to scale up later on. The Vayne is going to come online and be a monster up against a lot of tanks that Edge have put together. Maokai, Alistar, even Vladimir. To an extent, the Vayne is going to do quite well into.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And it's going to be really interesting to see how Wash Up Kid plays around that. And if he's going to go for that, I want to get rid of Asmolex as much as possible like he did last game. But it's going to be a little more difficult on that Fizz, trying to completely just delete Asmolex on that Vayne.
And the funny thing is, we saw last week Edge bringing out the 4 carry composition, right? With the Jace top lane, the Fizz jungle. I think they had Aurelia too at some point. And everyone showed that they could carry the game. Well, it's been very, very different. Army has been playing these tanks the whole time. Snow's on the Alistar. You have a tank mid lane in the Vladimir, and it's Haze that are saying, oh, well, we want to carry support at the same time. We want to be doing all the damage that we possibly can, and Edge are playing a very different style, and perhaps falling into this trap where they're drifting away from what they showed so strongly on last week, and wondering, how do we win this game when we don't really have all that much damage?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and honestly, how they got to do it is they have to delay it out long enough so they can get their ultimates to 6. That 6 through 11 is going to be their really their peak once they get those first few items. That way Vayne's not too on point, not too snowbally. Because once she gets 3 items, that's when you got to fear that Vayne. So if you're able to use your base damage, get a lot that you need to do in the early game in order to kind of snowball, but not like, because it's hard to say, oh, they're going to snowball, but they're on tanks. They're not really going to snowball that heavily. Sure, the Fizz might be able to, but not too much. So they
And
really got to, oh, sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, they really got to go for that mid game. But if you look at the side of Edge and what they bring to the table, not Edge, Haze, they have a very, I like their comp going into this. Like, can you just tell me more, though, about, I really want to know more about the Nasus going into this comp.
Well, the Nasus, I don't love it particularly. I'm not a huge fan. I know what the theory behind it is. Again, it's just to always be helping out your team. But if you look at it compared to a Malachi, it's just not going to have the same team fight presence whatsoever. Sure,
True.
you can, shred some resistances. You can do all right things, slow down the attack speed. But you're really not going to be a monster in these team fights. It really is for this early to mid game that he wants to help his jungler come online, shut down either the jungler washed up kid or make roams towards the middle lane, and that's where they're going to try and find all their advantages, because the Nasus not going to do a whole lot other than that and creating the split pressure, as we already mentioned.
Yeah, going for that, and actually he starts with a corrupting potion. You thought he was going to go with the Dorn's ring, but yeah, he goes for corrupting potion instead.
Yeah, actually Dorn's ring is pretty popular on the Nasus. Just lets you shove so hard early on, and this seems to indicate that he wants to trade more often with auto attacks and whatnot. So I'm panning over him right now, and he hasn't leveled up any ability just yet. So it might not be the Doran's rings, the hard shove Emax Nasus. It could be something very, very different. We really won't know until we see him enter that lane with a skilled ability.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one for sure, because that could actually be telling of how he plans on playing this game. And if they're really looking, if Haze is really looking for that late game, which would kind of be troubling, because we've seen Edge, they do like to put a lot of pressure on that mid game.
Yeah, well, Edge also going to come online very strong later on as well. The only tool Haze really have to help them out in that regard is the Vayne, and even then, it's a little bit awkward, especially with the Nasus. So I'm actually not a huge fan of the Vayne pick anymore with how the rest of their draft panned out. I think something like the Caitlyn, again, would have been very strong to just dominate the 2 versus 2 even more and just draft 3 really hard winning lanes, because even though we say Vladimir's a counter to Syndra, it isn't for this early lane. He really just, once he gets his first item, that's when he becomes virtually unkillable. And for now, Prey should still be able to put some pressure down onto him.
Okay, so he did go the E start, so he's looking for that lane shove Nasus up in the top lane. I was definitely curious as how we'd end up seeing Living Dream up there. But yeah, he's going to go for that route that you kind of thought he was going to. And I just wanted to mention that because we were talking about that earlier. And going back to the mid lane, though, you are completely right. Vladimir is not necessarily a super hard counter, like, oh, well, automatically wins lane. It's actually the opposite. Probably going to lose lane. It's once he gets some items and level 6, that's when he's just going to be like, okay, now I don't die.
Yeah, pretty much the deal with Vladimir, the deal with Malachi, with everyone pretty much over on the Edge lineup. You get some items, and it's really hard to kill you. Even a Fizz to an extent, even if this is the AP variation of him, and he gets like a Zhonya's Hourglass, well, he goes invulnerable, untargetable, invulnerable, all over the place, just playing around with those cooldowns. But once again, Washed Up Kid, he does the same path every time. One buff, one small camp, the other buff, get level 3 and try to gank, but he's not gonna end up choosing that one to go for the top lane just yet.
Yeah, and Etsu, I will give him a lot of credit. He changes up his route a lot. We've seen him really like to go for those Krugs second, but this time he opted to go for 2 small camps. He went for the Wolves and the Gromp, and then blue buff, getting the Rift Scuttler, and now maybe looking for that mid lane.
Well, what he doesn't notice just yet is that he can actually get some pretty solid counter jungling down right now because of the pathing from Washed Up Kid. There's a lot of camps available to him. Now you see him do flag and drag on over there. And Washed Up Kid has the same opportunity, but he is much more delayed because of the time he spent walking towards the top lane, because he's a Fizz that doesn't farm all that fast in the jungle. He is almost a full camp behind, although Etsu does not look to punish any further with the Krugs.
No, probably a good idea. Ooh, yeah, he might meet. He's gonna flag and drag over. Yep, there, he flag and drags over. Sees that there was a trade of Raptors and not really just him stealing them.
Except that the Mama Raptor is still available for Etsu to go ahead and pick up, whereas all he left over on the other side was a baby.
Ooh,
I believe. There's
the trample stack onto Asmalex. They do go for the engage. There's the flash out from Panda Opa. He's forced to use the heal. So close. Look at Worku. He's being hit by minions. Getting the first kill for Panda Opa. Are they looking for more? They might look out to Asmalex. Here comes the stun from the trample. They get that. Giving the double kill over to Panda Opa. That is not how you want this lane to be going. A 2 versus 2 going in favor of Edge.
Well, there you have it. I said bottom lane was the lane to watch. And yes, it was. Because right there, a double kill to start off Opa here. No longer are they going to have this rough lane, because now their all-in becomes so potent. And Osmalex, you have to wonder, where was the flash to dodge away from the QW combo from Snow? It was right there for him, and he could have chosen to live, but instead he holds on to a summoner. So getting ganked maybe not as big of a possibility, but giving up a double kill to an Ezreal who returns to lane with a Sheen and a Tear at 5 minutes in, that is just disgusting.
And Washed Up Kid gets found out by Etsu trying to just dodge away. That was interesting. And he uses the blast gun, dodges away from that, and he's just kind of sitting here. Mental G's trying to see if he can help out. I don't know if something happened to Washed Up Kid, but he's probably gonna drop. Great getting the kill on that one. He didn't. I thought he disconnected, but no, he was fine. He even put up some swag on that one. Gives a kill over to Prey for no reason.
Just gonna scratch our heads and move on, I guess. There's not much more you can do right there. Washed Up Kid coming back over the wall. What he was trying to do, he was trying to bait the flag and drag over the wall from Etsu, but in reality, Etsu wasn't even really all that inclined to continue the chase, and that meant that there was enough time for Prey to come over and lock him down for the kill. A very needed pickup for Haze, because if they're not going to be able to carry out of the bottom lane, they need kills onto Prey from the mid.
Yeah, they really do, and Prey has honestly been one of their shining lights on this Syndra. He really does like this champion. Kind of weird that they didn't ban the Syndra. And you kind of were like, I don't really see the Akali being the real reason they won. Honestly, I saw the real reason they won was the Syndra. So wouldn't you want to ban that away from Prey?
Well, they didn't need to ban it away. They could have first picked
Flash coming in. They're looking for a work here. They're going to get that easy killing spree onto Panda Opa. And that's the thing we didn't mention. Caitlyn Snow never used Flash that whole time.
Yeah, well, now you have a poke support who can't even poke because you just get all in every time you walk into the lane without a flash. So damn vulnerable right there. And there's really not that much Haze can do now. They need Etsu to make an attempt down bottom, but it's so hard to do enough damage to take out an All-Star, to lock up an Ezreal when the flag and drag combo is so telegraphed.
Yeah, flag and drag's always so telegraphed, but it still is a decent knock-up at least. It still provides some CC. And when you time that with Prey on that Scatter of the Week, it's going to be great for team fights. But yeah, you need Etsu to come into this bot lane and do something. Maybe he's just trying to farm up for that 6, get the Cataclysm so he can have more impactful ganks.
But even then, just locking down this 3-kill Panda Opa, going to be a tall task for those guys. They can't even hold on to the vision control. That's a side effect of being beaten so badly in a lane. All of a sudden, if you have control wards, they become rendered useless, because Mental or a Snow can just walk up, clear that one away, no problem, because you're trying to freeze underneath your turret in a lane that you want to be poking, just because you're too afraid to extend more than a few steps away from the loving range of your turret, because that'll mean you'll get all-in and get taken down over and over.
Right, yeah, that's really unfortunate. And honestly, it almost seems like the lane phase has ended for the bot lane of Haze.
Well, yeah, they just have to continue to try and farm. And now Snow, because Haze tried to set up this freeze, he's free to roam over the rest of the map, burn some summoner spells. Now Prey has nothing if either Washed Up Kid or Snow want to return back middle lane, and you don't get punished because it takes them so long to shove underneath the turret. Opa gets a free recall, grabs a pickaxe, and goes straight bottom.
They're going for Mental G right here. We do see Etsu with the Cataclysm flash away from Mental G. He uses the Hemo Plague, but really it's just going to be a disengage that he's able to use well. Sure, he lost his flash, but that's the thing about Vladimir. So slippery.
Ooh, here we go. 2v2 in the mid. Washed Up Kid from behind.
Yeah, Washed Up Kid from behind it.
Nope.
No, we didn't see Chum the Waters come in.
Even really when surprised. You blow 2 ultimates, I'm very surprised.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. And we even saw the True Shot Barrage from Panda Opa, who wanted to, he thought that they were going for that engage, and I guess Wash Up Kid just wasn't confident on that.
Really strange right there. I mean, nobody really had the flash right there too, so he would have had an easy time of landing the Shark. Could have been big for him, but again, you also consider, well, he's got an Amp Tome, that's all of his damage. Mental G has a Spirit Visage, who he's not really going to be providing that much in an engagement right there. They just have to battle with their tankiness, battle with their sustain, and just not too keen on that idea, because right now the Syndra is still very strong. Jarvan in that same boat as well. Haze, their benefit is this early to mid game. The issue for them, once again, is just that they've given up such a big advantage down bottom that, again, they need to press their advantages anywhere else that they can. But,
Prey got found out by Caitlyn Snow. Probably going to get locked up from the stun. Look at this. Armia is in the area, too. Teleported down. They get a kill on a Panda Opa. You don't want him having any more kills. He's looking for Asmalex. They're looking to see if they can get more. Twisted Advance is waiting for the cooldown. They do get the slow. There it is. Kill. Another kill. Here comes the Chum the Waters on it to Worker. Worker's going to drop. Washed Up Kid picking up that kill. And look at that, though. That is a 5-0-1 Ezreal on Panda Opa.
Yeah, and not only that, but they're also likely going to pick up the first turret of the game. There's a Mountain Drake for them, too, if they want to turn back for that one and pick it up. It's just so gross right there. I mean, Prey could have used the Blast Cone, not accustomed to this preseason, even though it's been a couple of weeks. Could have used it to hop over the wall very early before he got collapsed on and locked up with the CC. It's a turret trade, but again, first turret goes to Edge, and they've gotten a Mountain Drake.
Yeah, and first turret is far more important than... Sure, it's like, okay, they get a turret, but that gold that you get onto your team when you get the first brick gold is just so massive that you want that on your side, and now Mountain Drake's going to be even more devastating.
And it's sad, too, for Haze, because they were trying to take their advantage they got in the mid lane. Prey got the kill. He's got the sole kill for the entire Haze lineup. He wanted to use that go down bottom lane and try and help out his guys who are having a tough time, but instead he gets caught out in the enemy jungle, and then Osmalex and Worku, they follow him, somehow thinking they could hold up or try and save him or something along those lines, and it just did not work. I think the strange thing for me, though, is that Opa isn't going for Eternity Force with how far ahead he is. He's going for an Iceborne Gauntlet, which, quite honestly, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because you look at players, and it's like, oh, when you get ahead, just get the most damage you can possibly get. But also, if you're ahead, you're going to be doing an unnatural amount of damage, so why not get the tank stats and make it so it's almost impossible to take you down?
Yeah, very true. And we already see a pretty tanky lineup coming in on the side of Edge. Sorry about that. But
Magical Voice is dying. The magic is gone.
The magic is gone. It's that lovely cold that I still am fighting off. But like I was saying, it's just... They got such a tanky team on the side of Edge. It's going to be really hard, especially in this mid game, to really kill them. You got to somehow make it past, but that's going to be really hard, as Edge loves to close out games really fast when they have an edge.
But even then, we were saying that Haze, they need to use this early mid game because that's what their draft is all about. The Vayne really just kind of insurance if they're unable to close out. But you look at the other side, and there's a whole lot of late game scaling there as well with the Vladimir, the Ezreal, and the raw team fight power that Edge bring to this lineup. Now they're going on Living Dream up here. Yeah,
they're looking for Living Dream. Living Dream did pop the ultimate and trying to survive this. Is pretty tanky, flashing on out of there. You will survive that one.
Oh, here's actually Etsu. I wonder if they want to take this.
Yeah, Chum the Waters and Vengeful Maelstrom are down. Armia does not have that much mana, so this would actually be a fight they probably could win. As we see Living Dream, he is tanking up a lot. Here comes Wash Up Kid. He wants to get in onto that one. There's a flash and Cataclysm coming onto Wash Up Kid. Living Dream does die, but will they be able to get more? Will Etsu be able to pick up a kill on to Wash Up Kids? It looks like he probably will, and he might even be able to get a kill on Armia, who's out of mana. Yeah, and here's Prey. Prey did come in the area. The Unleash power, I don't know if it was necessary, but they do secure the kill. And here comes Mental G. The Hemoblade hitting onto both of them. They're looking for the kill onto Etsu. He might be able to get that. Ooh, just a little safe still. And here comes Caitlyn Snow. They might look for a dive. Here's the flash pulverized headbutt onto Prey. They're looking for more onto Prey. The exhaust was used, but they're gonna back off even though the Unbreakable Will was popped. They saw the teleport being channeled by Living Dream, and they didn't want to get too crazy.
I'm pretty sure Mental G could have picked that one. Oh, Two-Shot Barrage! Oh!
Two-Shot Barrage! So oh, just half a sec too late. So close on that one. Yeah, and Mental G might have been able to, but I think they didn't want to risk giving a revenge kill over to Living Dream.
Yeah, well, one of the benefits of being super tanky is that you can tank up the turrets. You have the All-Star as well, so it was possibly an option for them. And again, All-Star, oh boy.
Look at the damage that Panda Opa is doing to Worko. And Worker's trying to fight off Panda as best he can, but that Shark killing off Asmalex, and there's the next kill going on for Worku. This is just a devastating bot lane.
All right, I'm gonna say something, and you're gonna fill in the blank, okay?
Okay.
Na, hey, blank.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's all I can say to Worko and Osmalex right there. There's no nicer way to phrase it. They just got absolutely deleted. And I mean, the nice thing is Haze are actually focusing down this mid lane turret, and if they go evenly, that's going to be good for them.
Yeah.
Especially with the Zizurot portal, they're doing this pretty quickly. I wonder if they go for more. I think you go for broke, quite honestly.
Yeah, you might want to. They're looking to put a lot of pressure as we see Wash Up Kid and the gang leaving that area. Armia is trying to delay as much as he can. He wants to wait until Panda Opa gets in the area using the Blast Cone to get in that one. He's still pretty tanky. Vengeful Maelstrom being popped. True Shot Barrage flashed away from Prey. But look at this. Armia is able to fight the whole gang. There's the gang. We did see the kill going on to Prey. Wash Up Kid does drop to the Cataclysm, but here's the Hemoplate hitting onto Etsu. Etsu will drop. Panda Opa picking up that kill. Living Dream is going to be the next target. They're probably going to get an easy kill onto this one. There it is, double kill, going over to Panda Opa. One scary Panda over there.
Yeah, Osmalex and Worku just couldn't really follow right there, and it's 3 for 1. They go even in turrets, but it's going to change up very, very quickly. Again, the difference here is there's 4 members from Edge pressuring the top lane, whereas it's just a single Osmalex down bottom lane. Yes, he might get 1, but they're going to lose out big time, and the gold lead is actually pretty even at this point in the game. It's just a little bit over 2,000, going to be closed down even more, which is actually really, really big for Haze, being down so much in kills, being able to stay somewhat relevant in the gold category. But you also have to consider the late game scaling. They need to not only not be behind here, but they need to equalize that and get ahead as soon as they possibly can if they want to be able to go to the finals next week.
Yeah, they really do. This is the pressure. The pressure is on, and Asmalex and Worku have been absolutely punished in this bot lane. They have to get some sort of team fight or something to be able to come back into this game, but they're most likely going to just be completely punished anytime they get too far out. Like right here, John the Waters does hit onto Worku. There is the Grasping Roots to hit onto him. He flashes out, but has to pump so much in order to keep himself safe.
Yeah, and now there's just no chance to even threaten a team fight around this dragon right here because there's no flash on Worku, there's no ultimate on him either, but they're still going for this.
Yeah, Etsu came in. He wants to get Washed Up Kids. He does a lot of damage. There is the exhaust used onto Etsu. Etsu will fall, but they got the kill onto Washed Up Kids. Here's Armia in the back line. Doing a lot of work. Prey is killed by Armia. Worku getting killed by Panda Opai, who gets himself a double kill. Living Dream is the last one here in this fight because we did see Asmalex leave. He is pretty tanky, though, taking up a lot of that damage with the Sands.
Mental G! Hey, first, okay.
I think they wanted to give it to Panda Opa, and that's why they were taking so long, but then realized Panda's just like, nah, just take it. So
Panda doesn't need anything else. He's got way too much, man. Just spread the lovin', spread the gold on. I mean, he's almost got 3 items
Yep.
And I mean, Ozblex isn't gonna have his Infinity Edge for another couple minutes, so
yep.
it's
3 items. He might have 3 items before 20 minutes.
Now,
that's how far
the thing is, I will say this though, that if Haze knocked out Panda Oppa in a team fight, that's huge, because that's where like almost all the gold is for Edge. All the lead, that's gonna be all over towards Panda Oppa. He's got 4,000 gold over his 80 carry counterpart.
They're looking for a fight over on this mountain, Drake? No, they're not.
Nope.
Okay, I thought they were. Caitlyn Snow, he kind of got spotted out by the red trinket.
Yeah,
the sweeper was able to show him there that he was ready to engage a fight, and they want fights. Honestly, Edge wants fights because they have been winning these ones pretty handedly.
They absolutely have. But again, Haze, they just need to focus down this Ezreal, which is going to be a very difficult thing to do, because he is building perfectly, honestly, I think, going for this very defensive setup. Iceborne Gauntlet, Mob Malmortius. He has dual resistances now. How do you kill this guy? He's tanky, he does a ton of damage. There's not all that much you can do, and there's really only one diver. Etsu is going in, but even he only has a warrior. He's not strong enough to solo him out, and if Prey even gets close enough to drop the Unleashed Power, it is going to mean his life traded as well, and even then, might not quite have enough. Rift Herald, no love.
Yeah, no love for the Rift Herald. And we did see him last game that they did pick up the Rift Herald, but it's not necessarily necessary in this game right here. But here's Armia. Armia found Worku. There's the Blast Cone.
What is that damage?
That damage coming in just from the True Shot Barrage was ridiculous right there. I think that was a 30% chunk just from that one ability.
I think it might have honestly been more, because actually it does more damage to the first target it hits. So usually you fire it through lanes and it hits minions, so it does a little less, but they're just going on Etsu now. Yeah,
they're going on Etsu. They want to bait for this Baron, as we see Prey might be the next target. We see Mental G trying to get in the area. He does pop the Ghost. I know the Ghost was popped by Prey. Armia, though, in the back line, taking up a lot of the damage. He's pretty tanky.
Oh, boy.
There goes Asmalex. Asmalex just... If he gets anywhere close to the battlefield, he's just going to be dropped so quickly.
And this is such a different story than I thought we'd be seeing here, because Edge all of a sudden have to call in a substitute. This isn't even their regular roster bringing in Mental G here, but he's fit in very, very well. He has the lowest kill participation on the team, possibly hinting at the fact that he doesn't work as well with them. But the fact of the matter is, the rest of the team is just dominating, and he is doing his job 100% the right way.
And look at this, Armia, he's just completely zoning the team of Haze. He's tanky enough to be able to do this. They're using a lot to try to stop him. He doesn't end up flashing away.
Oh, he got it!
He steals it! He does steal the Baron on that one. He's going in for more. He uses the Cataclysm, but he will drop in that one. But he does steal the Baron. That is a huge momentum swing back in favor of Haze a little bit, so that way they're not going to be quite out of this game. They're still only down 2,000 gold.
And the fact is, they only lose Baron buff on one member, so that means that everyone else is still going to have it, and that is going to stop any sort of end game here from Edge for the next 3.5 minutes. That's going to be on them. Huge win for them, and I just don't understand how Edge can give that one up right there.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for them to lose that, but I think actually Etsu had the level advantage.
He did, but I don't think that was I believe Washed Up Kid actually smited early on that one. I believe.
Okay.
It was either that or the Baron was very, it was down to like 400 before it was actually smited. So even though Etsu had the advantage, it was so low that it really didn't manifest in anything.
Okay. Yeah, it was just one of those unusual things that I'm thinking Washed Up Kid had to have smote early. That would be the only explanation for that one. Because it got, if I recall, it did get fairly low, and he didn't have, I don't think he had smite.
Yeah, he either used it on the Baron or used on Etsu as he came flying into the pit accidentally.
That could definitely be a possibility. Because he does have the challenging, he has a challenging smite on him. So I might have used that instead. Here comes...
Still though, Edge sieging.
Yeah, Edge is sieging. They're gonna be able to. They have
ultimate.
No. Oh wait, whoa! He used the Unbreakable Will. That was interesting. And he also used the Redemption to keep himself healthy. I think he was afraid of how much damage he was taking in that. And they wanted to do more damage to the turret. because they don't want this Baron buff to be useful. They don't want the Baron power play to come online for them. Here's Armia in the back line. He does get condemned into the wall.
This might be the time to fight for Haze. There's no ult onto Snow, and you have the Baron buff. Opa, if he presents himself one more time, I think you can just dive him, but they lose the turret.
They're going to lose the turret right here. Panda Opa, they are going for the engage as we see Armia in the back line. As you're trying to get out, Asmalox does fall to Wash Up Kid, trying to zone him out. Look at this, Mental G in the back line, able to get Warku, as we did see him finally die under that tower. But he dove so far for that one. And really, it gives his team, honestly, the advantage here, because they're still able to put the pressure on, even though the Baron buff is not on them. It's on the other team. They still got the tower, still win the team fight, and now looking for more.
Yeah, and they're going up top lane. No inhibitor being pressured down just yet, but getting all the standing gold they possibly can. Still a little surprising that the gold is so close between these two teams. A lot of the players over on Haze doing a fantastic job of staying up in the CS department. They've got a lot of turrets for themselves as well, so it's not like they've been playing this game terribly. The kill score really does kind of skew the way this game is actually panning out right here. And I do have to give props to Haze for playing this game so well, for staying so even in those objectives, even when you look at it and you have a 0-12 bottom lane.
0-12-1 bot lane.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's even worse, is that they don't even have assists to their name.
Wait, but they have an assist. They have at least
They have
one.
an assist for both of them.
That's better than nothing. That's better than nothing, Magic. Come on. Positivity is key.
Wait, aren't I the one who's supposed to be positive?
Yeah, usually you're positive.
What happened?
We had a lot of breaks today, and I think it changed both of us. For better or for worse, we are changed.
We're changed people, that's for sure. It's one of those things, and now we're going to see another dragon going over to the side of Edge. Edge trying to get as many objective control as possible, but a big thing I honestly have to say is probably Living Dream on that lane push, the split push Nasus that he's bringing to the table, that he can easily get CS with the Zerods and not really have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's a big thing, I'd have to say. And perhaps, too, another thing is that Zerot minions actually skew the CS because you don't get gold for them, but they count as minions slain. So perhaps maybe Armia doesn't have quite as much as we think, and the CS lead that's 50+ right now for Living Dream could actually be much more. But again, you think about the Maokai, and he's very low economy top lane. You don't need a lot of gold to be effective. And the gold is in all the right places here for Edge. 17 assists, 0 kills for Snow. Fantastic allocation, all of it going over to Opa. And Washed Up Kid has some of his own. The only guy without that many is Mental G, but even he is going to be doing his job, has the items to still be threat in this team fight.
And honestly, Vladimir, you don't really need to have that great of a KDA. You just have to be annoying when it comes to team fights. You just go to the back line. You're just like, all right, if you don't focus
we saw him diving inhibitor turrets.
Yeah, he's like, if you don't focus me, I'm going to kill someone. Even if you focus me, I'm going to kill someone. So it's just not going to be good for you.
Yeah, Opa continues to impress me with his itemization as well. I'm a big fan of Lord Dominic's right here up against, the two tanks that you're going to be dealing with. I think a last item here that would just seal the deal would be a Blade of the Ruined King. That would pretty much just do it for me and make me the happiest little caster you'd ever see here at AOC Malta Cyber Series Masters. Although I'm probably your favorite anyways, right?
Yeah, probably.
I'm the happiest. I'm the happiest. I'm happier than you are, right?
Well, I'd say for now, we didn't get the.
You tell me almost daily that you're dead inside. I'm happy.
Well, I am dead inside. I can be happy but dead inside.
I don't think it works like that.
You don't understand how it is to be dead inside, then.
I don't, because I'm just the happiest little caster you've ever seen here at Malta Cyber Series Masters.
You could say you're a happy little pumpkin over here.
Nice. Throwing it all the way back. If you guys didn't know, the Happy Pumpkin was my original name on League of Legends. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, but in my defense, it was like I started playing League like 2 days before Halloween, so I was like, and my regular username was taken, so I was like, let me think of something. Pumpkins, I'm happy right now, and then throw the in front of it for good measure.
Chum the Waters came out, it didn't hit anyone.
Look at that carrot. He's losing
I was about to say that
there.
Carrot was hilarious looking. I've never seen it just kind of scurry around like that, but that was really funny looking. And a little bit of a team fight going on, just more skirmishing than anything.
You gotta find joy in the little things, right, Magic?
Yeah, I actually love that little carrot. I've never noticed that. That almost makes me want to get that.
I want that to be a champion. That carrot.
Yeah, right. Oh my god, I would play that champion. I would. That could be the worst champion in the game, and I would make sure to master it.
Carl the Carrot. That's what I'd call him.
Yeah, you know what? I like that name.
Carl the magical carrot.
Carl the magical carrot.
Yep. That's it. That's all I need in League of Legends. Right besides Pengu, and then we're good to go.
Pengu. Oh yeah, we gotta have Pengu. Yeah, gotta have Pengu. Just sled around the whole place.
It's funny. It's funny looking at this. Like, Edge are stalling out, going for this Baron so damn long because they're afraid of Etsu stealing it away again. Well, with good reason. He got it last time.
Look at bot lane. Look at bot lane.
That's true. But, I mean, look at Baron. It's down to 3k and there's no wards. Etsu has to go.
What? Yeah, they have to go. They're not going to get it. It's going to go over to the side of Edge right now. Armia and Caitlyn Snow are doing a great job in zoning. All the while, Panda Opa, Watch Up Kids, and Mental G were able to do what they needed to.
Mental G had no HP. They could have killed him or at least gone for the team fight because they had no vision, because Edge were so methodical about their approach to that objective. It was just the freest take in the world for them. And Armia, yes, he loses Flash, but definitely worth. And he spent so much time just delaying them from even getting close to the river.
No, that was really smart of them because, honestly, you don't expect them to be doing the Baron the whole time during that, because you think, oh, they're just trying to bait. They're trying to bait right now. So that's why you saw Haze being so careful. They thought they were getting baited into something. All the while, it's truly just the mental game. They were getting Baron the whole time, and even when they get the Baron recalls so fast. Armia and Caitlyn Snow are so tanky, they can just stop anyone from getting in.
And gonna continue that objective pressure. Now that they took away the Baron, it's time to rotate towards the bottom side of the map. There's gonna be another Drake coming in, minute 15 until a Mountain goes ahead to come back on the rift. They steal away blue, they just get everything they need, and once again, Haze, there's nothing they can really do.
And that would be the third Mountain Drake for Edge. That is just disgusting at how much objective control they'll have.
Absolutely. Not only that, but just shoving in all of these lanes so that Haze don't have the time to get vision of their own, even in their own jungle. And you see that the trinkets, too, indicate so heavily what this game has been all about. 3 blue trinkets from Haze. They know that they have no pressure on this map whatsoever. But that's just going to mean once those go on cooldown, they're going to be
flash
in the
from
dark.
Warku. Warku flashed in there.
I believe away from the True Shot Barrage, giving a ton of respect to that.
Yeah.
But again, look at this. Washed Up Kids splitting mid lane. They're getting pulled between two different fronts right now, and they have not been doing that good a job of holding up to this Baron, just taking little bits of chip damage on those turrets left, right, and center, and all the while just ticking down that clock until Mountain Drake spawns up again.
Yeah, they really want to take it down. They're going to actually go for the engage. Here comes the redemption to keep. It's going to be able to get that tower, that inhibitor tower. Look at this. Asmox is getting a decent amount of damage onto Armia. They get the kill. Etsu is the one picking that up. Honestly, really low health bars coming from a Haze, but no one's dropped. There it finally go. Mental G in the back, getting that double kill. That's what they need. Mental G just doing what he needs on that Vladimir. Ezreal on Pandopa, able to pick up the kill finally on Asmox. And I saw a lot of low health bars. I was wondering why we didn't see any kills. There's Warku getting killed by that really low cooldown on that True Shot Barrage. This is going to be game number 3 and the series going over to Edge. They will be making it to the finals. Wow, interesting game coming in on this last one.
Edge amongst technical difficulties, subbing in Mental G out of the middle lane. It worked like clockwork here, and they've got the game.
Yeah, they got the game, and Mental G did a very good job in that mid lane. I'm sure he didn't have the best kill participation, but we saw he played Vladimir how he needed to. He was an absolute nuisance, especially in that last team fight.
Yeah, and it just did not look good from minute 3, I believe, where Panda Opa got a double kill, returned to lane with a Sheen and a Tear. That's just not what you want to see, completely bypassing the really brutal 2 versus 2 that Edge did draft. It got them through it. Asmox on the Vayne, not going to provide all that much early, so the lane phase just ended for them. From there, the game just really was slow and methodical. The one misstep around the Baron cost them about 2-3 minutes on the end time, but even then, it was all theirs to win.
Yeah, it really was all theirs to win, and they did a great job in that one. Not quite the fast fast-paced game that they like to. We know how they love to end games fast, and it was like you said. There's probably more just because they didn't get the Baron than anything else. They probably were going to go for that really fast end, but they didn't get that, so they're just like, okay, we'll wait it out, and they still pushed while the enemy had a Baron buff. So you knew they were ahead when they were able to do that.
And we are going to get quickly on out of this one over to our next match. It's Rift Kings versus Raving Raptors Academy. The winner of that best of 3 will face off against Edge next week for the MCS Masters Finals. We'll see you guys in just a bit getting into this next game.
Mm-hmm.